Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen from Player Attack, and I'm here with Bart from Disney Mobile in a very nice private booth at E3 2012. This is Swampy. He is from Where's My Water, which is your breakaway mobile title from Disney. Can you tell us a little bit about where Swampy came from and where he's gone over the past few months?
Yeah, it's great to be here, and thank you for the time, Jessica. Where Swampy came from is about a year ago, a small team of people, a team of 4 or 5 people in Los Angeles came to me, and they had built this fun little game mechanic that was about dragging through soil, cutting through soil with your finger to get water to go somewhere, and it felt really good. And they had a little physics engine around it, and we said, that's awesome, but we're Disney. Why are you doing this? And they thought about it, and they went through some brainstormings, and they came back and said, well, you know, there's an alligator down there below the city living in the sewers, and he likes to take a shower. And we thought that was a really cool premise for character and world setup. And so then we brought in guys from and people from the animation studios and storytellers and character designers, and really built out the character and built up that world. So what we ended up building was a game that's really fun to play, and it's got a really strong core mechanic, but it's got a character that feels like a real Disney character. He's got heart, and he's curious, and he's got friends and family, and I think that's been an important part of why the game has done so well.
And I think that's also a crucial thing, is that little kids latch onto him because he's adorable.
Yeah.
But then grown-ups who are looking for an interesting puzzle game that is pretty much unlike most other things that we've seen, they've got something else that they can play on the bus.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Disney knows probably better than anybody else, and does better than anybody else, is character and storytelling. And when you have not just a game, but a story and a world around it, it just builds that emotional connection. And so when you read the reviews of Where's My Water, you'll hear kids say it, but you'll even hear adults say it. It's like, Swampy's sad, you got to help him get his shower. And so it's an important part, and we feel like, to be honest, it's Disney's unfair advantage on the App Store. There's very few apps and games that properly introduce characters and stories and worlds on the App Store, and that's what we want to focus on.
I think one other interesting thing coming from the Disney background is the fact that it is Swampy, and he is a new character. It's not, you know, Where's My Water and helping Mickey have a shower. It's an all new character that we're able to interact with for the first time.
Yeah, well, we are bridging that world now to an existing Disney character. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, one of the great things about the Walt Disney Company is that the company thrives on new IP. Now, we're good at creating new characters, and we're good at blowing them out and marketing them and putting them everywhere, right? But basically, the company gave us the freedom to build and use the right character, and we looked at existing Disney characters, and we felt like Swampy was a better fit, and so that's why we did it. And we do want to do that again, because fundamentally what's going on here is that there's almost 1 billion smartphone devices out there today, and basically a whole generation of kids is growing up, and this is their first screen, the iPhone, the iPad, Android. And if you go around the world, you look at India, you look at China, billions of people are coming online, and there too, this is the first screen. And the other thing that's really exciting for us making games is that on this device, and for everybody now, games is a full first-tier platform. Everybody's now a gamer. And so for the company, it's really important that we be creating new characters and telling new stories on this amazing set of platforms.
So you mentioned a little bit about branching into existing Disney franchises. So where to now?
Well, with Swampy, we're building a new game that's coming out in just a few weeks. It's called Where's My Perry? And Perry is a really awesome character from a TV show called Phineas and Ferb that was created by a guy named Swampy, believe it or not. So when we met him, he said, hey, you stole my name. And we said, no, we love your name. And the character found himself with that name, and we started talking, and Dan and Swampy, the guys that created Phineas and Ferb, they've spent a decade building out that world where Phineas and Ferb and Perry live, and it's really one of the best shows on TV, and about 500 million people watch the show now, so it's a worldwide phenomenon, and we came up with a game called Where's My Perry? Because Perry, the platypus, who is a double life as a secret agent, that part of his life takes place under the village, under the town where Phineas and Ferb lives. And so the world looks very similar to Swampy's world, and we kept the mechanics of cutting through soil, but then that game feels like it really takes place in Perry's world, and there's new mechanics that having to do with the gadgets, the lasers and such, that are part of the Phineas and Ferb world. So It feels like it's part of the Where's My Water franchise, but it also feels like a really nicely done game that takes place in the world of Perry the Platypus.
So could this perhaps be more targeted at the kids who think that they are way too old to be playing with Swampy? Because Swampy is obviously a kid's game.
Well, actually, as you look at our demographics, one of the things that we're doing at Disney is we're trying to build really great games, right? But the other thing that we're trying to do is live the data. And we got a lot of that from a company called Playdom that was acquired at the same time that my company was acquired a few years ago. And it turns out if you look at the analytics, everybody's playing Where's My Water all around the world, and people of all ages. And when you look at truly great games, Angry Birds, Plants vs. Zombies, for example, people of all ages play them. And so in the case of Phineas and Ferb, it's another title that, though you might think of it as a kid's title, go to Disneyland, you'll see adults walking around with the Perry the Platypus t-shirt. So we actually think it's going to appeal to people of all ages, but the first group of people that are going to latch onto that game, of course, are the people that love Phineas and Ferb.
But that's not the only game that you guys are working on at the moment, is it? More stuff. Tell us about more stuff.
Yeah, well, we have another game that's coming out in just a few weeks on June 14. That's a game called Temple Run Brave, bringing together Temple Run and Brave. Temple Run is a game that was built by Keith and Natalia, a husband and wife couple that quit their jobs and started making games a few years ago on the App Store, and they've built several titles, and their breakaway hit really hit over the holidays. A game called Temple Run, the first 3D runner on the iPhone that was executed really nicely. And the game has been downloaded 80 million times, and what's most remarkable is that every day 16 million, and that ratio is just kind of crazy, 16 out of 80 are playing Temple Run now. So it's really a phenomenon on school grounds and playgrounds all around the world, but also adults that are playing it. And we connected with Keith and Natalia and asked them, we told them we want to do a game together. And the game they wanted to build was the Brave version of Temple Run. And so what it is Pixar Brave is coming out. It's an amazing movie. I think it's really one of the highlights of movies in movies this year, if not the highlight. And what we did is we took the graphics up a whole notch where it really feels like Pixar grade graphics and lighting and shadowing and just a really beautiful environment. We added archery because Merida, who's the main character in that movie, she's always with her bow and arrows, and so we added a really fun archery mechanic. And the game is coming out all around the world, June 14, iOS, Android. It's coming out 99 cents with all the in-app commerce. And if you love Temple Run and you love Brave, you're gonna love this game.
You touched very briefly on your company being acquired a little while ago. Can you tell us a bit about where your background is and where you've come from and how you've come to be here as VP?
Yeah, well, I'm from Belgium and have been came to this for school, and because I wanted to be near Silicon Valley, and over the last decade or so I've started 3 or 4 companies, and when the iPhone came out I really thought this was going to be big, and we started a company called Tapulous. We made one of the first big hits on the App Store, a music game called Tap Tap Revenge. That continues to do really well, and the company was acquired by Disney a couple of years ago because Disney was really was looking to have more of a footprint in Silicon Valley and really wanted a lot of energy and entrepreneurial drive around what we're doing as a company on the App Store. And one of the things that's been really remarkable for me at the Walt Disney Company is the flexibility and the commitment to quality and the freedom that we are given. And basically the one thing that the company asks of our group is that we build really great titles. We can pretty much build whatever game we want to build with new characters or existing Disney characters. But when you talk to Bob Iger, when you talk to John Pleasance, those are the folks that I report to John, and John reports to Bob. Basically, they want us to build great games, and it makes business sense because we lead with our product at Disney, and especially on the App Store. It's such a crowded marketplace with somewhere north of 500,000 apps on the App Store. To break through the clutter, you really have to build an exceptional experience, and I feel like the company lets us do that, and that's what we achieved with Where's My Water, and hopefully with other titles that we're working on.
One last thing is, when you decided that you wanted to be in Silicon Valley, as a kid, stars in your eyes or chips perhaps, did you ever think that you would be working for one of the largest entertainment companies in the world, creating characters who were being held up on pedestals, alongside Mickey Mouse?
No, and that's been actually one of the most amazing opportunities. Last year, we put out a game called, for the Muppets, a very simple game called Tap Tap Muppets that actually is really fun and has done really well. But to watch, when I watched the trailer, the promotional trailer for that game, and I saw the Muppets playing Tap Tap Muppets, I had a flashback moment where I said, you know, I grew up on the Muppets. That's what I watched when I was a kid, and to be able to be part of that now, it's so amazing. And after the acquisition, I went to our team and I said, look, we're part of Disney now, and if we do amazing work, then maybe one day you'll be able to go to the park and be able to see a character and tell your grandchildren, I helped create that Disney character. And I feel like that's such a huge honor and opportunity, and I feel like with Swampy we're sort of halfway there. So it's really, really exciting and a real honor to be able to do this work.
Yeah, I mean, now as it is, you can see your grandchildren and say, here, see this dude?
Here's Swampy.
He's mine. Thank you so much for your time.
Let's go.